Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And this morning we have such an exciting guest on the show. She's a returning guest and somebody who is really a amazing success story. She's a former teacher. She showed and brought up affiliate marketing and was going to prove to her classroom that it was something that was, not a realistic way to make money online. And as she was demonstrating to her classroom, it's the fact that it was not a great way to make money online, or was not a legitimate thing for them to pursue. Well, she proved herself wrong. And it became part of her curriculum, and it became part of her, classroom sort of adventure with her students. And here she is, months and over a year later, maybe going on 2. I don't know. We'll hear her exact timeline, with a multiple six-figure business, living a life that's potentially and most likely beyond her wildest dreams, with her amazing husband, who I have had so much fun with at some of our mastermind events. And just, a real authentic story of success that is not about mansions and Lamborghinis, but about, a real journey of putting in the work and getting the results. And so I could not be happier to welcome back to the Wake Up Legendary show, Kellee Roberts.
I switched to my phone, so I guess that's what we're gonna have to do.
Oh, I love it. Well, I was pointing out here that before I came on and we went live, Joanne said, she's not nervous, because I guess you guys were talking about how nervous you were the first time you came on, and I said, well, that's sort of this in you're a teacher, so I'm sure you'll appreciate, a little slide here real quick, a little slideshow. But this is the kind of process that we all go through, from being totally nervous, nerve-wracking. Oh my God, I can't believe this. How do I look? How do I feel? Oh my God, are both my legs the same length? Are both my eyes the same place on my head? Does my hair look okay? Is my part right? We go from this sort of, total focus on ourselves, but being unaware of kind of what to do, which is this unconscious incompetence. You're unaware of the skill and your lack of proficiency. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
Then we move into this lower box here, which is conscious incompetence, where you're aware of the skill, but you're not yet proficient. So now we become a little bit more aware of, if we're shooting videos or we're going live, we're like a little bit more aware of kind of what we're doing, but we're not really comfortable yet. Then we move into conscious competence, the green box over here. You're able to use the skill, but only with effort, right? You got to really focus, and you got to get ready, and you're good, but everybody in the house has to be quiet. Nobody has to be looking at you. You can't film in front of other people when you're out. You kind of get embarrassed, and it's like you're able to do the skill, but you got to really focus. You got to really try. Everything has to be perfect. And then you move up into the mastery box up here, which is this blue box, which is unconscious competence. You can perform the skill automatically, no matter if your husband's in the room, your kids are in the room, if you're out in public, or like you coming onto the show, you can go live with me and for over 500 people and not be nervous, or not be nerves are still good to just show that you're alive. Like, it's not about being emotionless, but it's also not about being you're able to be in flow. Does this feel like it fits with your journey here over the last Yeah,
I'd say so. I have At first, I wouldn't do any videos in the room. Like, no one could be in the room with me. Like, nope, we got to do this. I can't, because I didn't want people laughing at me. But now I'll go out, I'll shoot videos. Like, I can shoot video in anywhere, really. I can shoot video, when James and I were in Italy, I shot video while we were walking down the street in Italy, like lots of different times. But I also think part of that too is the fact that we, like being out and shooting videos like that is becoming more and more common. Just like when I was teaching high school, at lunchtime, I had lunch duty, and we would have groups of kids shooting TikToks just in the hallway. They'd have their phones out and just out doing that stuff. But yeah, for me, that was definitely my journey. I still get a little nervous sometimes when I'm with people that I think are going to judge me for it. I mean, that happens with everyone. But if I'm comfortable where I'm at, I'll just pull my phone out and shoot whatever I want.
So how do you deal with so that's nice to know that you still, you've become this kind of, really successful internet marketer here over this rather short period of time. It's been what, just so I don't make it sound like it's too good to be true. Has it been a year and a half? Has it been 2 years? What's your time?
Almost 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in February. Yeah.
All right. So in almost 2 years, you've gone from a high school teacher to a really successful internet marketer, and this is your full-time career now.
Yep.
And you still deal with, because you still have friends and people that are in your life that don't really know what you're doing or understand what you're doing and may be a little bit judgmental. They may be those crabs in a bucket who have a hard time really maybe even being really happy for your success, because it's sort of, maybe there's some jealousy, maybe it sort of threatens that we don't know, whatever the case may be, they're a little judgmental, whether they say it out loud or whether it's just vibes that you can feel. And so, man, thank you for sharing that. And how do you navigate that?
Just like you said, when I first started this, I had a lot more support from strangers on the internet than I ever did from my family, right? Like, minus my immediate family that lives in my home, they were fantastic. But, and I still have people that don't think what I do is a real job, or don't see it as something that people should do, or, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I tend to, when I'm around them and I know that I'm going to have some judgment, I typically don't shoot video. I don't talk about my business. Nothing. I don't bring it up. James will bring it up. I don't bring it up. He brings it up. But I've also gotten to the point where I've asked him to, like, if we're in certain situations and I want some footage, I ask him to just like occasionally shoot video for me, do that kind of thing, because it just makes it really easy. And then I'm not the one that's doing it. And it doesn't look like it's all self-centered on me. Like, I'm just out here with my phone, like, hey guys, look at me. So I think that does help. But the longer I do this, the easier it is for me to do it out in front of people. And the more people start to understand what I'm doing. Like, and that's my career. That's my life. That's what we do. So
yeah. And everybody doesn't want to be famous on Facebook, social media, rock star to their friends and family. I think also it's important to kind of discern the difference between, because some of you just don't understand this yet because you're not successful yet, right?
Yeah.
So you just don't know what you don't know, right? But when you may think, well, when I become successful, screw them all, right? I mean, if they don't support me, they're not true soldiers, they ain't not true friends. But the truth is that, like, there are friends in my life that I have wanted to keep that, as you said, They're not internet marketers. They don't know what I do. And with the jobs and careers that they have, they may never become ultra successful, right? But I
Yeah.
still want to keep those relationships. I don't want to damage them, and I don't want to hurt those people. That's a theme that I'm kind of on right now, because there's different ways that we hurt people or can hurt people as we become successful. One of the ways is if we act so arrogant, or if we act in a way like we're better than them and just automatically cut them off. So I hear real maturity there, and I hear you navigating this in a compassionate way where you're proud of your success, and so is your husband, and you're not seeking approval or validation from everybody else. However, at the same time, you're not looking to shove it in everybody's face or over explain to everybody what you're doing as if it's so important that they must know and understand. Does that feel like it fits?
Yeah. And I mean, when people ask me what I do, it's hard for me to go from, oh, I teach, I'm a high school teacher, it's hard to go from that to I own an internet marketing company. Like that's what I do. But it's hard to get that to come out, but more and more, the longer I do this and the more I own it, I guess. Cause when you first start, like when I first started, I didn't think this was going to be a full-time thing for me. This was my side gig, right? This was my side hustle. And I just wanted extra income. I wanted to help us pay some bills, get rid of some debt, do some of those things. And then it became so much more. And so to go from something that was never intended to be my full-time thing, to this is what I do now, and this is my life, and I love it. And, but I don't want to throw that in people's faces either, because, lots of people like to see you fail. People don't tend to like to watch you succeed. Sometimes we all like to suffer in our misery together. So when you step out of that box, my dog's barking, when you step out of that box, people take that a little hard sometimes. They don't necessarily like it. And then they say things and, whatever. I just let it go in one ear and out the other, because I'm kind of over it. I know what I'm here for. I know why I do this. I love what I do. And I if they support me, they support me. And if they don't, they don't. But I'm not going to lose friends over it.
Yeah. And you have this whole new audience of people and all of these new friends. I know that because I've seen you at our mastermind events.
Yep.
Very happy, having lots of fun, hanging out with me, hanging out with all of the new friends that you've made through our community and through this business and so forth. So, it's also, my experience has been that sometimes we grow into new friendships and out of old friendships, and we can do that in a mature way where we don't have to, again, over explain ourselves. We don't have to say, oh, I've outgrown you now. It's just a natural, like, okay, I'm hanging out with these people, and if somebody asks me, I'm happy to talk to them and be honest, but I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to, if I feel jealous or negative vibes, I'm certainly not going to pursue hanging out with that person. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to do all the things to take care of myself. And I hear and see you doing that as well. So tell us how the new house is coming along since since I've seen you last. You were kind of working out of, I think, an RV or something, watching your house. And talk to us about the journey of getting here, this dream for you to do this. And was this something that you saw happening or planned on doing when you were in the classroom and you were just starting this?
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back first to your friends' comments, because I have what I call my work friends, and I have friends that are not my work friends, right? I have my family. But I have found people in this community that when I have when I have days that I'm not happy, or days that things just don't seem to be going right, or I want to bounce ideas off of people, you need to have people that understand what you're doing. And while my husband understands what I'm doing, he doesn't do it at the same level that I do. He's not in it doing it the way that I do it. So I have a group of friends that are amazing that I can text and call, and because we all do the same thing. So Sarah Thompson, Amy Hires, M. Walcott, those are my girls, right? So we talk regularly, daily, pretty much, and bounce ideas off of each other. And hey, how's your day going? How's your month going? What's happening? And they get it. Like, they get it. So when you're having trouble, or you're having bad days, or you just want to talk to somebody who fully understands what you do, it's important to have those people. So as you guys are coming through this business, as you guys are building your business, find those people. Find some people that you can talk to, your tribe, because that's been a game changer for me. Just having people, they're my competitors, but they're my friends, and we drive each other. Like, we motivate each other to do better, to try new things, to get out of certain ruts, or, we help each other. So I think that's really important. And I like what you said about that, because yes, I have a whole ton of new friends. It was really nice to meet Chelsea at the last mastermind. Like, I got to know her quite a bit, and that was just fun. But yes, so right now I'm in my old house. And because I was living in our RV. We had an RV. We're building a house an hour from where I live right now. And I was living in my RV since the summer, basically. And then it snowed a lot, and somebody graded our driveway, or like cleared our driveway for us, and it ripped through an electrical line. And I don't have power in my RV anymore, so I can't stay out there because it's like 27 degrees. But we've had this dream. My husband and I have had this dream to buy land that we want to live on and build ourselves our dream home there. And that was going to be probably a 10-year dream, right? That was something that was going to happen 10 years from now. And luckily, I started doing my digital marketing, and it's gone really well for me. And we've been able to do a lot with that, just a lot with that. And the biggest part of this is the land that we bought was not ready to build on. So we had to put power, we had to get water, we had to, move dirt so we could put our house on it. And that all costs a lot of money. Like, that's not cheap. And typically it's sometimes hard to find funding to be able to do that. So, but because of this, I didn't have to. And so fast forward 10 years, right? That's essentially what happened, because this was a 10-year plan that turned into one. So we bought our land last November. James and I got out there and cleared a whole bunch of stuff on our own. We took down whole trees by ourselves. We had a big front loader. We took down whole trees and cleared out thorn bushes and all kinds of stuff. And then in August, they started building our dream home. So that actually was supposed to have already been finished. But because they back ordered some of our tile and doors and some things, it took a little bit longer. So I was hoping to be in my new office today, but I'm not. I'm in my old one. So still just fine. But yeah, so I'm excited. We went out there yesterday, and they have all of our cabinetry put up, and they're working on doing trim carpentry right now, building out our closets, that kind of thing. I have a walk-in pantry. Okay, so right now I have a pantry that I open the door and it's just like right there, right? Close the door. And so yesterday I got there and they had all of our shelving up in our pantry, and I was like, well, oh my gosh. But here's the kicker. Let me just explain. My husband and I, when we were in our 30s, lived in a house that was 1,100 square feet. Okay. 1,100 square feet is the littlest, tiniest house. And we lived there with our 2 kids. And it was a great life, but it was just a teeny tiny little house. And that's just what we could afford. 2 teachers, whatever. And my garage in my new dream home is bigger than the house that we used to live in. And that I didn't realize that until a few months ago. And I was standing in there and I was like, oh my gosh, like it just dawned on me that that's how far we've come. And it's just wild. It's just wild.
Yeah. Well, I have seen and, talked to you over the last year or so as this has been, coming to fruition, and it's been, and you're not there yet. You're not even moved in yet.
Right.
So it's still in the process. I mean, this is the journey. And I wonder if you could share with everybody, like, who kind of has maybe this is going through a frustrating time and thinks that there's this certain point of arrival. Do you feel like you've arrived, or are you still, even though you're have an inspirational story and are achieving some amazing things, are you still, do you feel like you're still growing? Do you feel like you're still like are you still having frustrating days? Are you still battling limiting beliefs? Is there new and different problems that you're now facing that are sometimes as intense, but just aren't the same problems that you were dealing with at the beginning of you starting this business?
Yeah. Yeah. So even as people come up and are learning this business, you're going to see people that are wildly successful. And, I have comparisonitis real bad. Like I've been doing this almost 2 years, and I see people that have been doing it half as long as I have that have made gajillions of dollars. Right. And that's a struggle for me mentally sometimes. So I have to walk away. It's odd. I have to walk away from watching anything on social media sometimes. I have to walk away from checking the scoreboard. Sometimes I have to walk away from the Facebook groups and just anything, because it distracts me, and it does a lot to my mental state sometimes, which also having my girls is a really, really good thing, because when I'm having days like that, I can talk to them about it. But, everybody has ebbs and flows, and whether you're successful or not, you're still going to have those ebbs and flows. You're going to try new things. Like you say all the time, this is all about trial and error. Everything we do is about trial and error. And you have to figure out what works for you, not what's working for everybody else, what works for you. Because I'll tell you, over the last 6 months, everybody talks about Instagram and how great Instagram is and all those great things. I have really worked on Instagram a lot. I've put a lot of time and effort into Instagram over the last 6 months, and I'm not where I want to be. Like, I'm not, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with what was happening with my business. I wasn't happy with how much I was having to do on Instagram. I wasn't happy with those things. And I've recently just gone back to where I built my business, which was TikTok. TikTok and Facebook are the two places that I built my business. And I went back to them because shiny object syndrome is a thing, you guys, but it doesn't just have to be like what you're purchasing or it can also be where you're putting your information at, where don't just switch platforms because somebody tells you that this platform is better than the other. And I truly let that happen. I've let that happen. Sarah Thompson and I have been talking about that a lot, because both of us built our businesses on TikTok. And then I went over to Instagram, and while Instagram's great, it just doesn't give me the same results as TikTok does. And so once I went back to, and also I was finding myself trying to create content that wasn't me, right? I'm trying to create content that just wasn't me. And so going back to TikTok, I have gone back to my funny lip sync videos and all the stuff that I love doing, that my audience loves to watch me do, and my audience really resonates with. And I just think that that's the key sometimes, is that we have to do our own thing and be unique to ourselves. And we can't just do what everybody else is doing just because they say that's what we're supposed to be doing. I was not comfortable on Instagram. I probably won't ever be comfortable on Instagram. I love TikTok, absolutely love TikTok. But everybody kept saying, TikTok's dead. TikTok's dead. It is not dead. And neither is Facebook. If you guys are not on Facebook, you are missing out on a huge opportunity, because Facebook thrives, man. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about Facebook. I want to talk about TikTok. I want to comment though, because there was a time period back, a couple of years ago where everybody was like Facebook ads. This was pretty much before you started,
Yeah.
and right as you came on, but Facebook ads were like all these big marketers were trying to do Facebook ads and mastering Facebook ads, and Facebook ads was the hot topic, and everybody wanted to use Facebook ads because there was the short form videos weren't as popular, and in some respects they didn't even exist yet.
Mhm.
This video marketing in general had kind of become, difficult and stagnant because you pretty much had to do long form video on YouTube, and that was pretty much the main way that you built your business, that you used video or generated traffic with video. And so everybody wanted to learn Facebook ads, and Facebook ads were so hot. But what I had always done was community build and, start Facebook groups and bring people together and kind of have an authentic, transparent vibe where I wasn't the guru, but I was interacting and creating an opportunity for others to connect as well. And again, building communities. And one of the best ways to have always built communities has been on Facebook with Facebook groups. And so I've been using Facebook groups for a really long time, right?
Yeah.
Like a really long time, like, 13 years long time, or as long as they've been out. And, so instead of going with the trend in what everybody was doing, and I damn sure tried, I really did, just like you're talking about, I did try. And I just found that it was not, it didn't come across as authentic for me. It was difficult for me to master that. But here's the thing that's important to say is that it was working really well for other people.
Mhm.
And it just wasn't my thing. And so, now it's Facebook ads is still really powerful and it still works for a lot of people. But, if I wouldn't have embraced what I do best, which is community build and work with groups, and like even this show is sort of a
Yeah.
community building show, right? Because
Yeah.
we're live, we've got all these people who are commenting, and it's a community building show. I'm better at that. I'm better at interacting with people in kind of being out there rather than sitting behind the scenes and running ads or having somebody run ads for me. It's just better. I just do better in this. Maybe it's because I'm so long-winded. It takes me, friggin' 15 minutes just to get warmed up, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to do a quick little punchy ad and come across as authentic and transparent as I can in a live video or something like that. So I eventually embraced that, fully committed to that, and the rest is internet history. I mean, it's really about finding what you're comfortable with and tuning out the noise. And I love that comparisonitis is different. It's it's the same, but it's different, right? It's like it's the same thing, but you experience it differently throughout your career. And so now that you're in this phase, you're in this chapter where you're kind of embracing what works for you. What have you discovered about TikTok, and what are you learning about Facebook? Or let's start with TikTok. What have you rediscovered about TikTok in terms of if somebody was wanting to start with TikTok today? What have you rediscovered about it, and how do you feel that it's different than Instagram and Facebook?
I think what I love about TikTok is that when you put a video out, when you post something, it typically is seen by people who don't follow you. Like it is typically put out where other people who don't already follow you are going to see it. And I think that's one of the things that I truly love about it. Instagram is very community based, which is fantastic. You want to build community. But what I found on Instagram was that everybody that's watching my videos are people that already do what I do, because that's the community, right? So I mean, I don't know. There's just so many things about Instagram that confuse me. But TikTok, what I love about that is there's so many different people that see what we do. And what I've rediscovered, what I kind of went away from about right before James and I went to Italy, I had been doing lots of lives. I was going live on TikTok all the time. And when we got back from Italy, I started focusing more on Instagram and kind of went away from my TikTok lives and also my Facebook lives. Like I went away from both of those and tried, focusing on Instagram. And that was like such a mistake for me because I miss being live. I love getting on TikTok live because I can answer questions for people who are already doing what it is that I do, which helps me because that's the teacher in me. I love to be able to go out there and help people educate, but also just to be able to build relationships and get to know people, and let people get to know me. Because when I'm doing a 5-second video about my dream home, right? Thanks, Phil. When I do videos on my dream home, that doesn't show people who I am. That doesn't explain to people me. So when I go live, I can show sides of my personality that a lot of people don't get to see in my videos. And I think that piece alone I think that's made a huge difference. But also, I've had a lot of other struggles too. Like I lost my domain. I don't know if you knew that, but I lost my domain. Like Google shut it down, and I still don't know why. But I rebuilt my entire business in a half a day. I rebuilt my entire business in a half a day because of everything that I've learned from this company right here. I was able to get my business up and running again in half a day. So whatever. But the community that you can build through lives, I just love the vibe on TikTok. I just really do. No one cares. No one cares what you look like. No one cares what you wear. No one cares if you show up with a hat on. I get the least amount of nasty comments on TikTok. I get the most, the most on other places, right? But TikTok, I don't know. The vibe is for me. The vibe is for me for sure.
So what about all interesting stuff and all, what I love about all this is stuff that you've learned on your own.
Yes.
This is so important, I think, for everybody to take away, because as much as Kellee is your favorite teacher, or as Phil corrected himself to say, your favorite ex-teacher, my friends, please remember how Kellee, how anybody, let me not say anybody, but let me just stick with Kellee for right now. Because I got to start being careful about my endorsements with people, right? People,
right.
Not everybody's worth an endorsement these days.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. But you learned all this through your own trial and error.
Yep.
You learn this through your own experience. And I think one of the things that's really important to point out for everybody listening, 647 people live as of this moment, is that, this may be contradictory to your experience. You may find it to be your vibe is more on Instagram, more on Facebook, and you're not going to know until you get out there and post 100 videos on TikTok, post 100 videos on Instagram, right? And you have to have a good enough, large enough test sample. I think in a like a trial, they call it it's the amount of people that you have inside of that trial. Some of my more medically inclined people, you know what I'm talking about. It's
yes, yeah,
people are inside of that trial. It's not a legitimate trial if there's a couple of people. You got to have a decent amount of people inside of a trial in order for it to be legitimate, because you need to be able to get a certain amount of results. So that's true in marketing as well. I need to be able to have a good enough sample size, whatever we want to call it, of data and experience to be able to make a determination of whether this is working or not. I think the best example in marketing is you can't split test 2 hits on this page example and 2 hits on this page example. And I see this all the time. People are like, well, I've gotten 100 hits on my landing page and I haven't gotten any sales yet. It's like 100 hits is like a pimple on the freckle of a gnat's ass in terms of a marketing sample size.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to be talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of hits, hundreds of leads that have opted in. And then from that, we can have a legitimate sample size of where the breakdown is in your funnel. Is it on your landing page? Is it on your bridge page? Is it the offer, right? Because the other thing is, if they opt into your landing page, hit your bridge page, we need to know how many link clicks of your affiliate link do you have? Because if you have 100 opt-ins but no link clicks, well, something's wrong with your bridge page. Nobody's clicking that link. That's where the black hole is inside of your funnel, right?
Yeah.
You have 100 opt-ins, 90 link clicks, but 0 sales. Well, let's make sure that your link works. Let's make sure you're going to the right place. Let's go through the damn funnel and check it. Or right? Is this resonating with you as well?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, it is. I also, if I could make a recommendation, I would definitely tag like as much stuff as you can. If you guys don't know, like if you go into the Legendary back office and you do your affiliate link, you can add a tag to every link that you use. I tag everything so that I know where people are coming from, because I do 40% of my sales come from email. And I know that because I tag every link that goes into my emails, right? So that's how that's how I know where things are happening, how things are happening. I check to see how many people are coming, how many people are clicking my link, and then how many people are actually opting in. So if I have a lot of people that are clicking my link and no one's opting in, well, that would tell me then that something's wrong with my opt-in page. Like I need to do something about that. So if that number's pretty high, then I go from, okay, well, how many people are actually opting in to how many people are actually converting over to, buying the challenge or whatever it is that I'm offering, right? So if there is a disconnect there, well, then I need to fix something from here to there. So I think that that analysis is super important. I've done that from the beginning. Tagging all of I always put different tags. Like if I send a broadcast email out to my email list, it has a tag on it with the date that email was sent so that I know which one exactly converted those people. Because then I'll go through and I'll see which one of my emails is the better email. And then I can recreate that, right? Hundreds of times if I need to.
Absolutely. So, it's interesting. Somebody said in the comments, let me find it. So she might as well be talking Japanese. No clue what this means. Well, that's Kelly's got 2 years of education and experience on you's gone through all of our courses. So don't compare your day 1 or month 1 to her year 2. This is the importance of getting educated about how to do affiliate marketing properly. And that goes for any product you're promoting, my friends. Kellee happens to be an affiliate of Legendary and likely of other softwares and so forth. If you go to Google, no matter what you're promoting, you can, just, for example, Google link tracker, right? And there's all kinds of different link trackers that you can use. For example, create free custom URL shortener and tracking links. You can go through here and create tracking links easily. 13 link tracking tools for 2024. So you can go here and use a tracking link service, many of which are free, and really track your links no matter what it is that you are promoting. And there's sections inside of our advanced training, inside of our blueprints, that talks about tracking and testing. and so forth, where we do additional, follow-up education on these specific topics. So again, never underestimate, my friends. This is a free show that we're doing for everybody to plant seeds, to helpfully inspire you, to give you valuable content that you can take away. And some of the details are details that we teach and that Kellee learned over hours of education of speaking, coming from the teacher is also been a student, right? Let's talk about Facebook. What has Facebook been for you over the past couple of months? And how do you think it may be underrated in some people's eyes?
I think that we all assume, and I did too when I first started, that Facebook, no one was on Facebook anymore, right? Everybody, because you hear people say Facebook is dead, nobody gets on Facebook. But let's be real, everyone is on Facebook. My kids are on Facebook. My kids are on Facebook. My 94-year-old grandmother is on Facebook. Like, everyone is on Facebook. So at first I never took Facebook serious. And then I finally got serious about it and started making sure that all of my posts were going over there, and that, and I get really good interaction from people on Facebook. I get a lot of engagement on my videos on Facebook. My reels do better on Facebook than a lot of other places. Like, it's wild to me, and on a consistent basis. But also, when you're on Facebook, you can post a link inside of your comments, which you can't do anywhere else, really. I put my link in the comments. Anybody who comments to me, I can put my direct link in there, and they can go to my opt-in page that way, right? Which I think is amazing. I also encourage people to come join my community. Come join my free community. I get in there and I do live Q&As all the time. People that join my community have access to me in ways that you don't if you're not in my community, because you can put a post out in my group and be like, hey, I'm having trouble with this. I have 7,000 people in that group. People are going to answer. Like, you're going to get the help that you need. So I think, along with what you said earlier, Dave, was building that community is super important. And that's been important for me from the very beginning. I started my Facebook group a month after I started doing this. And I think that had a lot to do with it. And a lot of times I get people that say, well, how do you have a community where you're supposed to be the expert if you're not successful yet, right? Well, you don't have to let people know that you're the expert. How I told people was, come join my Facebook community. We're just getting this thing started. Let's learn together. That's how I went about it. Like, we're all learning this together. And I have people that have been in my Facebook group for almost 2 years now. So, and that's how you build raving fans, right? That's how because they get to see a side of you. You get in there and you answer questions and you're helpful and you do the things that I set out to do. And it shows people a side of you that other people don't get to see because they're part of your community. So,
yeah, there's not a whole lot of, apps or platforms that work better at community building than a dadgum Facebook group.
Yeah.
There's just not. I mean, I have charged so many times over the years at getting people off of Facebook, because Facebook can be, or every platform can be, annoying and toxic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Facebook can be toxic. People can come into your Facebook group and private message your people and try to poach them and try to scam them and all this kind of stuff. So, maybe you start, there's a couple of different social group apps and stuff that you can use. But I tell you, people won't leave Facebook. They just won't go use. People are so used to using Facebook.
Yeah.
They're so used to it. And so you educate people, you make warnings about what to look out for with our community. Before somebody goes from our back office to one of our Facebook groups, we have kind of a bridge page. It's kind of a page on our blog that we send people to that has a video that explains, here's what to look out for.
Yeah.
But we've sort of embraced Facebook over the years as basically the predominant place to have a group, the kind of the only place that the majority of people will go and hang out on. And our group now has over 100,000 people on it.
Yeah.
This business page that we're on right now, I mean, this business page with very little paid advertising, friends, with very little, tiny, itsy bitsy amounts over time compared to other companies who have spent, who spend multiple six figures per month, mostly organic, doing the show 850 episodes plus. I'll have to get an exact update from Jalen. We've got over 100,000 followers on this business page right here. As a matter of fact, 105,000 likes, 149,000 followers on this business page.
Wow.
That's
good.
just from consistent posting every single day. And the cool thing about Facebook is that not only will they now push your content out to a cold audience. So Facebook used to be where it would kind of like TikTok, and kind of like Instagram started doing, and kind of like now Facebook is starting to do, where Jalen just gave me that episode. He said we're on episode 884.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I mean, friends, listen. I mean, this is both myself, Kellee, anybody else who has any success has gotten there by consistent posting and content creating over time. But anyways, there was a time when you posted on Facebook that your business page would hardly get any reach. They wanted you to pay for advertising. And your personal page would get more reach, but it would only be to your friends.
Yep.
And then they allowed you to have followers, so people could follow your pages and your friend profile without actually being your friend or liking your page. And now they're really boosting your content even further based on your engagement. So for example, we do these lives, we get a bunch of comments. The more engagement you get, the more your content gets pushed out. Then you start posting reels on your business page, and it gets pushed out even further because the algorithm, the Facebook gods know that people like your content. And so if you're going live on Facebook like we're doing, plus posting reels and stories, it's a powerful combination.
Yeah.
And Facebook is underrated right now. Facebook is underrated.
I agree with that. And I think a lot of people are scared of Facebook because they don't want their friends and family to see what they're doing. And I was right there with them. Like when I didn't start posting on Facebook until Josh Smith, till you guys did that Facebook challenge thing that we did. Like, I don't know, it was like a year ago, like a year and a half ago. But that's when I started really, really focusing on Facebook, and it changed a lot for my business. I mean, it really did. It changed a lot for my business. And I was terrified of showing my friends and family what I was doing. And then finally I sat down and I thought, why the hell am I terrified of showing people what I'm doing? Like at that point in time, I had already made my yearly teaching salary. And I thought that I should share this with people. Like I'm doing people a disservice if I don't tell them about this. So I just had to, at some point, just decide what's more important to me, building my business and changing my future, or staying under a rock somewhere so no one could see me on Facebook. What was more important to me? They don't pay my bills. Like my friends and family that don't want to see me on Facebook don't pay my bills. And if they don't want to see me, they can mute me. And that's, I mean, they don't want to see me, they don't have to. So, but at some point in time, you have to tell yourself, I just don't care anymore. because I'm here. I know why I'm here. I know why I came here. I know what I'm trying to accomplish with it. And that's the goal. Like, that's what you have to focus on. And, you know, being successful is scary because you have to take steps that no one else is willing to take. A lot of the times you have to do things that make you uncomfortable, because if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a lot of people are feeling this. I mean, thank you all for your comments and feeling the energy and feeling the passion that's being communicated right now, because this is coming from real life experience that you've had, Kellee, and not only do your results show it, but your experience and your wisdom and the way that you're able to talk about these things in such a powerful way is only because you've walked the walk, right? You've not just talked the talk, but you've been walking the walk over the past 2 years. And that's really important to point out to everybody, is that you've been at this for 2 years. And, if you want to change your life, it's going to take some time, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it if you can be successful with it. And the way to be successful with it is to stick with it and apply all of the same principles that you're going to need to apply to anything that you're going to be successful with. This is the interesting thing. You're not going to have to apply anything different here, more or less, than anything else that you do in life to be successful.
Yep.
I would assume being a great teacher takes all of the same hard work and dedication, and likely, a different kind of commitment, being physically there and most likely enduring a lot of different types of stress. I can remember listening to you at one of the previous masterminds, in the pain that you felt watching some of the kids that were struggling and suffering in their own personal lives and feeling helpless about being able to do something about that. As much as I know that tugs at your heartstrings, and you did everything that you could do to be a great teacher and impact those kids' lives, how is your life different today? And how has your stress been decreased by this change? Certainly, I would assume you still have certain stressors, but we've talked a little bit about your financial success and what you've been able to accomplish with, building your new home and going full time and all this. But are you actually happy? And do you have less stress doing that, be doing this? Because that's also important. We don't want to be rich and miserable.
Right. Wow. If you ask any of the people who are my followers on social media, they tell me all the time that you can just see it in my content. You can see it in my face. You can see it when I talk. You can see it in everything I do, the lack of stress that I have now, which is wild, but I agree with them 100%. What I will say, I think the biggest difference for me, we had so much stress around money. James and I did. We just had so much stress around money that the not living paycheck to paycheck anymore changed your life in ways that you can't even describe. And that was something I always wanted, but it wasn't something I realized was causing me so much stress. But now I can get up in the morning, I can help my boys get around for school, and I can, hop in the shower later. I can, I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have to be out of my pajamas by 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to get out of my pajamas just to get on here, because I thought, maybe not. Maybe I won't keep my pajamas on. I do have my slippers on, however. But I mean, those are the little things. But like, if I could say one thing has improved in my life more than anything else, it would be my marriage and my relationship with my husband. And I'm going to throw this out there. Today is my 26th wedding anniversary today. And we have been on more date nights. We've been on more vacations. We've spent more time together, just he and I together, than anything else, any other year of our life. I think 2023 was probably the best year of our marriage, and it was number 25, right? So we've just spent a lot of time together, and our kids are grown, except for our 10-year-old, who we just adopted on November 17th. So he is officially a Roberts. But my relationships with my family, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my kids, it's all better, all of it, because I don't have that stress, because I do have time, and I can now make that a priority. And I don't have to be at school. I don't have to be sitting, I don't have to take grades. I don't have to take schoolwork to a baseball game and try to grade stuff while I'm there. I can be fully present with my family. And I think that has changed a lot of things for us, just a ton of things for us. So
I could not be happier for you and your family and James. I really am so happy for you all and proud of you, and am just honored to know you. It's been a pleasure to be a part of your journey, and I can't wait to see what 2024 brings. So we're going to end with that. There's nothing more to say. This has been beyond expectations, and it always is with you. And so keep up the great work, my dear friend, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. Thanks for having me.
Stay legendary, my friend. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right, my friends, you can follow Kellee. I'm going to give you all her stuff here. Facebook, Kellee Roberts. If you're listening, it's Kellee Roberts, Roberts, Kellee Roberts. But Kellee is spelled Kellee. That's on Facebook. Over on TikTok and Instagram, Building You Online, spelled exactly how it sounds. Building You, Y-O-U, online. Building You Online. She's on Instagram. She's also on TikTok, and she talked about that. My friends, wow. Triple dipper hat throw. I was so tuned in to what Kellee was saying here over this last hour, and so inspired by her story. It's such a pleasure. It's my greatest kind of source of happiness from what I do in work is to see people change their lives in such a powerful way, not just theirs, but also their families. And to have somebody who I've got to know over the last 2 years coming to the masterminds. I know her husband. We've partied together, meaning that, dancing and laughing and just, having a lot of fun when we get together. It's a pleasure. It's beautiful. It's what this is all about. It's watching people who want it, not people who need it, because don't we all need it? I mean, doesn't the world need it? Doesn't the world need to not be living paycheck to paycheck? Doesn't the world need to build their dream home? Doesn't the world need to have a break from the rat race? Doesn't the world need, an extra X amount of dollars each month to help out, to go towards, their kids' school fund? Doesn't everybody need that? Unfortunately, everything, including success in business, is not for people who need it, but those who want it and those who are willing to do the work to go after it. So if you've watched this episode and you've been inspired by Kellee's accomplishments and her story, don't compare your day one, your week one, your month 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, 12 to her month 24. She's been at this, putting in the work, making the commitment, showing up every day consistently. She's walked through her fears and her nervousness and her anxiety, from being on this show nervous, to speaking on our stages nervous, to now coming back and being much more comfortable, a lot less nerves, just the normal nerves that we all have. Even I have, Sometimes when I, come on and, oh my God, I'm talking to Kellee Roberts. Woohoo! I mean, that get a few nerves there, because it's like, wow, this is really exciting for me to talk to somebody who's come so far and who we get to follow up on her story. So remember that she and everybody else, including me, has gone through the same difficult decisions and challenges and frustrations and comparisonitis. And guess what? We're human beings. We still go through it in our own way to this day. So keep on keeping on. Keep up the good fight. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be challenging. Yeah, it's going to challenge you to your core. Yeah, it's going to make you rethink maybe everything that you know and believe about life and money and jobs and everything. And put your damn seatbelt on, because it's going to be a wild ride. And if you stick with it and are successful, it'll be worth it. Get out of here, my friends. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Thank you, as always, for all the love in the comments, the supportive, affirming, loving, compassionate, just that contribution that you all are making in the comments when we're doing these makes this so much more enjoyable for us all to do. We appreciate it. We're pouring into you, and we appreciate when you pour back into us. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Same place, same time. Get out of here. Stay legendary. Peace.